Well, the OBR forecast that GDP per capita will increase by 5.6% during the course of this Parliament, having fallen under the previous government. So if he ever gets to Clacton, he can tell his constituents that.
So the economic figures today show we're all getting poorer again, and we're led by the most incompetent Chancellor in history, Rachel Reeves. And there are some very big questions. She said she worked for 10 years at the Bank of England, turns out it was 5.5. Said she was an economist at the Bank of England, turns out she was in customer service. And on expenses, well, she had very big problems when she worked for a bank, and as a Member of Parliament, had her credit card taken away. So, here's the question. Will the real Rachel Reeves please stand up? Please stand up.
Get ready for some serious drama. Rachel Reeves just buckled under pressure live on air, and Nigel Farage is the reason why. He pulled back the curtain and laid bare the uncomfortable truth. So what exactly did Farage say that rattled her so badly? Let's just say it wasn't flattering. This political showdown was intense enough to leave jaws on the floor. Don't look away. It's about to get explosive, and you'll want to see exactly how it all unravels.
Would the Chancellor agree that measuring growth and relative wealth by GDP is not the most relevant number to our constituents? Because we're living in an age of mass immigration and a rising population, it is GDP per capita, surely, that matters to our constituents, and that has fallen consistently for the last 2 years and is falling still. And shouldn't we tell people, actually, they are getting poor?
Before we get going, don't forget to give that like and subscribe. You won't be sorry when the next thing happens. Now let's discuss the pandemonium that ensued when Nigel Farage ripped Rachel Reeves apart on live radio. She just couldn't handle the heat. What was supposed to be a typical political debate soon escalated into a total meltdown for Reeves. It was less a debate and more of a public dismantling of her credibility. The clip became a viral sensation on the internet, and deservedly so. Farage sliced through Reeves' arguments like a hot knife through butter.
The honeymoon might be short, but it appears it wasn't. I don't think the marriage was even consummated. I mean, it's just gone wrong from day one. And the negativity. Now, you've got Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, who looks like she's attending a family funeral every day. Not one of the 25 members of the Cabinet has ever worked in private business. Can you believe that? I mean, literally, can you believe that? Out of 25 men and women, not one of them.
Let's start with Rachel Reeves, the so-called rising star behind Labour's economic plan. She paints herself as an expert, often reminding people of her extensive experience at the Bank of England and in financial services. Her message? I'm qualified, just trust me. But when you scratch beneath the surface, her narrative starts to fall apart. Farage, never one to miss an opening, zeroed in on her credentials. He revealed that her time at the Bank of England wasn't quite the high-powered role she likes to suggest. Turns out, she wasn't in the room making big economic decisions. She was doing customer service. Yep, that's right, customer service. Hardly the engine room of economic strategy.
And we just got to say a huge thank you to Rachel Reeves. Big thanks to Keir Starmer. Because not 10 months in, they are making a complete and utter Horlicks of the whole thing.
Once Farage exposed the truth, boom, the entire foundation of Reeves' claims as an experienced economist crumbled right there on screen. And you know what's worse than being caught out for stretching the truth? Being exposed for something so obvious that anyone could see through it. Farage didn't need classified documents or insider info. He simply pointed out the reality. Reeves' 5 years at the Bank of England were spent doing basic, low-level tasks, not the influential economic advisory role she's been selling to the public. But hold on, Farage wasn't finished with her just yet.
This government is all about growth. Of course, there isn't any growth at all at the moment, and many would say that actually the national insurance rises, new employment legislation, the upping of the minimum wage pretty much guarantees that when the 1st of April comes and much of this kicks in, that we're really going to be in a tough spot. But no, the Chancellor has been off to Davos and come back a new woman, and we're going to have a third runway at Heathrow Airport. Well, at least that's a decision, I suppose, because we spent the last 50 years debating whether we ought to do it or not. But
Farage didn't stop there. He tore into Labour's complete failure to get the economy back on track. Sure, the Conservatives made a mess, but let's be real. Labour had more than enough time to fix things. And what did they do with that opportunity? Pretty much nothing meaningful. It's like leaving someone in the kitchen with cake mix and coming back to a burnt disaster. Farage came prepared. He laid out the cold, hard facts of Labour's track record. Soaring inflation, rising taxes, and a ballooning national debt. At some point, you can't just keep pointing fingers at the last government, especially when you had your shot and only made things worse. But the real knockout blow came when Farage took aim at Labour's broken promises. They said they'd fix the economy, undo austerity, back small businesses, and protect working families. Instead, taxes went up. Small businesses got buried under regulations, and working families were left to struggle with out-of-control living costs. You could almost hear the frustration building as Farage laid it bare. Labour's policies were never about real solutions. They were about keeping people just comfortable enough to stay quiet.
Rachel from Accounts, as she was dubbed by Lee Anderson, will get up tomorrow and give the spring statement, and we all know that over the course of this summer there'll be very large numbers of people working in hospitality and indeed in retail who will lose their jobs.
Farage isn't just a politician, he's a tactician. While others chase headlines, he's 10 steps ahead. When Rachel Reeves talked up AI and wind farms, Farage didn't rant. Just a few cold words, and the facade cracked. He doesn't argue. He dissects. He called the budget economically illiterate. No drama, just precision. His words don't attack, they diagnose. Reeves fell back on the usual, misinformation. It looked desperate. Farage didn't flinch. No shouting, just facts. She rambled. He watched. This wasn't debate. It was demolition. Labour looked hollow. Farage made it look effortless. Starmer and Reeves sound robotic. Even when trying to connect, it feels rehearsed. Farage didn't just critique their plan, he buried it. Labour's slogans couldn't survive the moment. This wasn't a stumble. It was a collapse. And the public saw it unfold. Farage made them look irrelevant. And voters won't forget. While Labour falters, Farage builds. He senses weakness, and he's moving. People think Labour's win is guaranteed. But Farage is thinking beyond that. Reeves looked out of place. Farage rewrote the rules. This was the spark. Reform is just getting started.